Today I'm talking about 3 Olivia de Havilland 1940s psychological dramas. And the names of those 3 movies are The Snake Pit, This Is Our Life, and The Dark Mirror. First up is The Snake Pit. This is a 1948 film based off of a book which was basically a recounting of the author's time while in a mental health facility. And since it's the 40s, it was not a great experience. But hot damn is this movie fantastic. It just rocks. There's so much to praise about this film. The premise is just this woman's journey inside the mental health facility as she has recently gone through a large mental break and her just kind of coming back from the brink. Firstly, what I have to shout out is its proper use of psychology. To the best of my knowledge, all of the psychology, all of the science is true, is real. It legitimately holds up. It's not just like, oh, she's got women troubles, she's got hysteria, she's on her period and she's crazy. No, she has gone through a number of traumatic events in her life with her not processing a recent one, and that leads to the big break, but her whole life had been leading up to that moment, and there were other things along the way that contributed to a decline in her mental health over the course of her life. Like, they make a big deal about how stuff from her early childhood, her mom not really loving her, leads to a complicated relationship with her dad, which leads to a complicated relationship with men. And then there's the traumatic events on top of that. And it's just like, this is just legit. This is just actual psychology spelled out correctly to the best of my knowledge. And I just love that. That was so refreshing. And then on top of that, what I crazy loved, a lot of this movie is women. And they're complex, multi-layered, and doing interesting things. And that's just so refreshing and fun to see, because like the wards that she goes in are just populated by women, and they're all mentally unwell, but they don't feel like cartoon characters or anything. They feel like actual women who are going through these incredibly traumatic experiences. They're really struggling with their grips on reality in such a painful way. Like, this film really was borderline horror at times with just how realistic and intense everything was. This film really demonstrates how we're all kind of just like one bad event away from everything just falling apart, which is utterly terrifying. There's a moment where she gets more lucid and she basically asks, how long have I been in here? And the doctor is like, 4 months. And she's like, I don't remember any of that whatsoever. And just like that absolute tragedy of losing a third of a year is just bonkers. I can't even fathom. And it's so interesting too, because like at times she talks about wanting to lose days, wanting to just forget time, because she is just dealing with so much pain that she just doesn't want to experience life anymore, but not in a suicidal way, just in a let's just stop making memories sort of way. And it's just so interesting and so fascinating. Olivia gives a great performance. She was a really great lead. I in particular loved when she was very sad or confused by something, when she was being more restrained with her emotions, or like when her character was clearly lying about stuff in order to not admit that she has no idea what's going on. Like, I have definitely seen older people in my life who are going through Alzheimer's or something who would do the exact same things as what she did, and she nailed it, and it was so very sad to see. So yeah, no, I crazy love this movie and would wholeheartedly recommend it. It's such a beautifully told, incredibly realistic, and incredibly sad story that is without a doubt well worth a watch. It's just something else. So yeah, no, fantastic movie, wholeheartedly recommend it. Next up is This Is Our Life. This is a 1942 film co-starring Bette Davis, again based off of a book, and the basic premise is Olivia and Betty are sisters. Betty is engaged, Olivia's already married, but Betty is a big old brat who just kind of wants to mess with everyone. And so she has an affair with Olivia's husband, and they run off together, and then after some time Olivia starts a relationship with Betty's old fiancé. And it's pretty dang solid. It's a trip of a movie. It's without a doubt a melodrama, but it really nails those melodramatic moments so well. Like, Bette Davis starts off so awful, completely spoiled, bratty as can all be, but yet somehow manages to get consistently worse throughout the film. But it still feels realistic to me. Like, I know people just like her. Maybe not necessarily the spoiled part, but like the not truly caring about other people, only finding enjoyment out of life when they're causing drama. Like, there's times where she just intentionally flirts with a guy because she's bored and she wants to emotionally manipulate him. Like, she just wants to prove that she can get a rise out of this guy. That's all she's going for. Hot damn, do I know so many people just like that. It's incredibly frustrating. And then, like, when it got to the third act turn, where the film got even more dramatic, I literally had to stop the movie because my blood was boiling. I was so angry at what Betty was doing. And what I love too is that the filmmakers did a fantastic job in setting up that moment, because the moment that I shut it off, all Betty did was just say, "Oh," and then it all just fell into place for me, and I'm like, God damn, I know exactly what she's about to say, and I am so upset about this. You are the worst person. Oh my God. And what I find so wild too is that the author of the book was upset with this adaptation because they toned stuff down. But like, man, this movie's kind of at an 11. How can it be even more? Well, I discovered, and I will say what it is, just because it's so wild. So there's a rich uncle that really, really loves Betty and gives her money and a car, and he's the one that spoils her to no end. And at one point in the film, she gets a little close to him, maybe a little flirty. And I was like, whoa, what's happening here? What's going on here? This feels a little incestuous. Turns out, in the book, it's explicitly incestuous. They do be doing it. Which is just so wild. To the best of my knowledge, I don't know anyone who's done that, but I do believe it within Betty's character in this film. So yeah, no, this was a really solid film that I would recommend if you can handle melodramas. I know not everyone likes melodramas because they are so over the top at times, and this is definitely that, but it goes to some really fun, really interesting places, and the characters I just know so well in real life. I think it'd be easy for anyone to kind of latch on to what's happening within the film. So yeah, no, it's a pretty solid film that I would definitely recommend. And lastly is The Dark Mirror. This is a 1946 film, and the basic premise is this doctor is murdered. While interviewing all of the witnesses, it's clear that the doctor was on a date with this one woman, but that one woman has a clear alibi for that evening. So how could she have done this murder if she had an airtight alibi? Well, turns out she has a twin that no one knows about. Now, her having a twin is a fun, interesting idea of figuring out which twin is the one who did the murder. Did they really do the murder? Why did they do the murder? And then, like, because these twins in particular like to hide that they're twins and then pretend to be each other, that can add a fun layer on top of it. But the film makes it pretty clear early on which one of the twins did the murder. So it's more of a, why did they do it? What was their motivation to do it? And it has a lot of very dated pop psychology stuff. Like, I rolled my eyes so hard at the polygraph section. Polygraphs are a pseudoscience. It's all bullshit. There's also the Rorschach tests, which some of the comments on there are just so absurd. Even the word association stuff is like, oh my God, this bullshit. And then on top of that, like, they play into like the old myths about how there's always an evil twin, and like, because there's two of them, something is taken from one's soul as a cost for there being two identical people instead of just one. And it's just, oh my God, this is so old-timey superstition bullshit. And what was so frustrating to me is I think it would have been so fun to have it be really unclear who's who. Like, they're both lying, they're both covering something up. And like, if they both would have had reason and motive to kill this guy, or maybe it was someone else, that could have been fun. And more of just uncertainty of which character Olivia is at any moment. The ambiguity would have been so fun. And for a while, I was really hoping they were gonna do a twist, a reveal, that it was actually the good sister is the one that murdered the guy because of whatever jealousy or something. I think that would have been more interesting, would have added a lot more depth to the characters, but it didn't happen. It was the bad sister. It's the exact one you thought it would be the entire movie. Olivia definitely does a good job in the lead roles. It's fun watching her be both characters and feel very distinct. Like in any given scene, it was pretty clear right away who she was, despite the fact that for whatever reason they wore name tag jewelry stuff or embroidered stuff all the time, which is just so silly and really against their characters because they had spent like the entirety of their lives pretending to just be one person, which is not even really super clear why they were even doing that to begin with, but whatever. So yeah, it wasn't a bad movie. I didn't have a bad experience with it. It just could have been so much better. So I liked it. I thought it was fine, but it definitely had a lot of room for improvement, which is frustrating, but it is what it is. Would I recommend it? I would say yeah. If it seems interesting to you, go for it. Just go in with more tepid expectations, and I think you'll have a fine enough experience. So yeah, no, it's an alright little movie that doesn't live up to its potential, but it's not a bad experience by any means. Alrighty, now for today's rankings. First up, we got The Snake Pit sitting at number 2 in the really like section. And then after that is This Is Our Life sitting at number 19 in the quite like section. And then bringing up the rear is The Dark Mirror sitting at number 29 in the liked section. And this is out of a total of 51 old movies so far this year.